Alright, welcome back. This is Carter from Otter Cuddle's Reborn Nursery. If you're new, which you probably are because this is a new channel, welcome. If you're here from my last video or the introduction to my personal collection, welcome back. Today we are going to be working a little more on Miss Lily. Miss Lily. She is the sculpt by Joanna Kazmierczak, and we've already done her model layers. It's pretty subtle. The lighting's not so good. I am literally filming not right after my last video, but pretty shortly after because I can't sleep, so I may as well paint. And I just realized I forgot my paintbrushes in the other room, so I will be right back. Okay, so I've got my paintbrushes. Need these. I've got my cosmetic wedge. I use this for my my skin tone layers, my washes, anything that doesn't need a texture, the cosmetic wedge is fine for. Take out her eyes just so that we can bake her. One of them stuck. I should really edit my video, but I don't know. I'm a very stream of consciousness person and not a very computer savvy person. So we're just going to set those eyes off to the side and get straight to our painting. Like I said in my last video, I mix all of my own colors. When I mix colors, I work with Gemini heat scent paints, and those are from Bountiful Baby. Again, this is not a tutorial, this is not teaching, this is just how I paint, and I hope it's fun to see some behind the scenes of Reborns. I'm gonna have to mix up a little more of her skin tone, so let me just do that first. I really only do, so I've got the primary colors and I do the two primary washes. That wasn't enough blue, so I'm gonna just come back to that. Not primary washes because I don't do a yellow wash or a yellow model, but I do a red and a blue model with just the primary colors. Just the straight paint. So that's the ultramarine blue and the red, which I'm going to need. I may as well mix up a good amount because I want to paint all my kits before I start my next thing. And I don't think that's going to happen because I have so many kits on hand. If you're looking for a custom at maybe a bit of a discount, I am more than happy to share my kits, the kits that I have with you, and paint them for less than I'd normally sell them because I want them gone. There's so many kits that I want to paint and so little time. I always have trouble with the yellow paint because it's so much creamier than the other two colors. I really want to be careful because I keep ending up not liking my colors that much. Like, they keep coming out too peachy. And I like this cooler skin tones, but I'm in a peachy era. So we'll do that. Mix up the color. I'm just looking for a reddish brown. I probably should have taken like a little sample, but I've got my dirty puppy pad to compare to. Yeah. Just want to get that all mixed in. Don't want any clumps. Want to get all the color consistent. And then when I like it, I'm gonna mix in the paint thinner to get a nice consistency. A nice thin consistency is what we want. I still don't know if my method is the right way to paint, if that makes sense. Okay, that looks good. Because I will hear people say that they use like literally hundreds of layers, and I believe them. But for me to get the skin tone that I want, I only need 2 layers of this paint. 2 layers of the skin tone layer. 3 layers of model. And then it's just the details and veining and creases. Let me add a little more. So yeah, tell me if I'm painting wrong. I think it all works out. Let me get my mess cleared up before I have a tragedy and get paint everywhere. Yeah. Get that out of the way. I really like the heat set paints, but something I miss about air dry is that they came in dropper bottles, so that I just have to squeeze a little out versus using 3 million brushes to do this. Just gonna add a little more color, more blue, get that all nice and clean. Another good thing about heat set paint is that I can come back from, I want to add in more yellow, but I'll keep that facing that way. More red, wash that off. I don't know what it is, but yellow paint and I do not play nicely. It always comes out way too strong for me. All right. So let's see if we're ready. Here's where we're at now. No, that looks way too red. But the nice thing about heat set paint is you just wipe it off and we're good to go again. Gonna add the rest of the yellow like I said I was gonna, or like I said I wasn't gonna. And then I'm gonna need another brush for the blue because I mixed it in because I'm not smart. We're gonna add the rest of the yellow. This is the thing about like mixing my own paints, is that it's really hard to get the same result twice. I think that's good enough. is about the blue paint either, but I go through it way faster than any of my other colors. I've always been told that blue is like one of the more saturated colors. Like, you want to be very, very careful with blue. You want to water it down really well. And you definitely don't want a blue-looking baby. Unless you're going for, like, a alternative look. I don't know, like a zombie or a alien baby. You could probably be more blue. But I find it, like, important for the depth. But yeah, I also just go through it a lot faster than my other colors, and I don't know why that is. I use it for veining, blue shading, and to mix in with my other colors. That still looks pretty red to me, but I'm gonna paint it out a little. Because I think a pink skin tone isn't a bad thing. Like I said, I've been going more peachy. Lately, but we'll see. I currently only do Caucasian skin tones. That's something that I'd really, really love to work on, is, you know, having more diversity in my artwork. I just haven't found a tutorial that I really like yet. Okay, let's pounce that out and see what color we're looking at. If you've got tutorial recommendations for, you know, different skin tones, let me know. I would love some recommendations, especially from artists of color, or like by artists of color. I do love Sue Ellen of Live Effects, the the Primary Method, I guess, pioneer. Yeah, see, that's looking better when it's pounced out. I love her videos, but I don't love the Primary Method. I wish I did, it just doesn't work for me. And I think that's just because yellow paint and I do not get along. But I think I was talking about just sort of how I don't have to do as many layers as a lot of other artists do. And I don't know why that is, because I don't think I'm making my paints too thick. I think they have the translucency that they need. Yeah, I'm actually really liking the skin tone. I worry that I'll need to thin it out for her next layer, just to make sure that it's not too strong and too pink or too red. Gotta get into those creases and make sure nothing gets drippy. Nothing ruins my day more than having, like, a drippy baby. Like the paint on it. I don't know why that... Like, I will check my babies every time they go into the oven. My limbs, my vinyl. But they... I don't know what it is. Something always goes wrong. That's just the artistic method. I didn't really do a lot of art before Reborns. I wanted to draw I did draw. It wasn't good drawing. I still do it just because it's fun, but it doesn't connect with me the way that painting reborns does. Pale around the nose. I want to get all the creases, but not too deep in the creases. Yeah, that's where we're looking now. It's a little hard to tell on the screen because she's so shiny. Let me just double check that she's all good to go into the oven. Yeah. And I'll be right back. Okay, we are moving on to this little foot. We are wiping cat fur away. Or really trying to. There we go. I think I made this layer, this mixture, just a little too thick, just sort of compared to what I'm used to, but I don't want to water it down because I want it to be consistent. That was too much paint on there. Yeah. I'm used to painting by myself, so I'm not paying much attention because I'm just yapping. But the thing about heat set paints is it's forgiving. Before you bake it, it's forgiving. I can set it as long as I want and come back to it and fix my mistakes. I don't always, because I'm careless. I am impatient as a person. I try really hard not to be, but it's the way. That's better. Yeah. I think it's going to turn out okay. I don't think I've really painted this sort of pinky color before. Not for a really long time, if I have, anyway. But yeah, definitely gonna need another layer because it's gonna be toned down. I kind of want to talk more about the kit, but I don't really know, like, what else to say that I wasn't said in the first video. She's a twin. She's got her sleeping twin Iris. I love Awaken Asleep twins. I love when twins have different limbs. I think... I wish that... I don't really paint Bountiful Babies anymore. Bountiful Babies Realborns anymore. But I wish that they would do different limbs for their Awakens Asleep kits. Because I feel like that's just more realistic. That was something that when I was looking for my two twins, my one set of twins, that I was particularly picky about. I didn't want twins that had the same limbs. So, like, Nick and Nivea were out of the question. There was another pair that I believe is all sold out now. Twin A and B probably would have been a good match for me because they do have the different arms. But I wanted one awake, and I'm really happy with the ones that I ended up with. Tell me if you got twins in the comments. Twin baby reborns. Yeah. I don't think that the next Lily and Iris kit will be up next. I think I'll probably alternate with a sleeping kit. I don't know if I want to paint my Cameron asleep or my Suna. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but she just came out by Laura Lee Eagles a month or two back. little foot. It's sort of fun to do as a little comparison. It's subtle, and the shine is making it a little hard to tell, but there we go. Yeah. You can tell that I've never really done a lot of camera stuff. I have a parent who worked in the film industry, and he is probably disappointed in me. I never inherited his camera skills. I think about that a lot when I take pictures of my dolls when they're finished up, and my own collection is, you know, the photography. Because reborns sell online for the most part, unless you're at a doll show or like, I know some people have gone to their local crafts fairs and stuff like that. I am not brave enough to do either one of those. But reborns sell online for the most part. So it's really about getting good photos that capture the doll accurately. And like, some people try to do stuff that makes their dolls look better than they are in person, which I don't love. I want to capture how they are. If they've got a flaw, I want to make sure that that flaw is pointed out, because I want to make sure that you know what you're getting. That said, I'm not a good photographer, so sometimes I get comments like, looks even better in person, and like, you can only capture so much with the camera. But it's another thing to be like, this doll doesn't look anything like I'd expect in a good way. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm just rambling. Yeah. I also don't know if I've been in the camera at all this time, this limb. I feel like I had to set up my tripod a little bit different, because for whatever reason it just was not standing up. I believe we're all done. Oop. Gotta clean up the creases. That is like the number one thing with my art that I don't like, is that I get a little messy in the creases, and I don't like it. I want nice, clean art. There are some amazing artists out there who just do incredible work, and I am jealous of them, but I also really like doing what I do, so maybe I'll learn more about how they do their stuff, and like my art even more. Little hand. I really am enjoying painting this kit. I think each kit, you get to know them as you paint them, and you get to like learn about, like, I don't know, the kit's personality in a way, and like what makes each kit unique, really. She's got two little curled fists, but they're not like all the way closed like this or this. Like, you can still see her nails. Got a little thumb out. yeah, I'll compare to her other hand in a minute. I apologize if the lighting's not great. Like I said, I'm painting right after my last video, and it's at night during a thunderstorm. I'm sort of recording a bunch of videos at once just because I feel really chatty. Like I said, that's another good thing about heat set paint is I don't have to wait for the paint to dry in between layers. Like, you shouldn't do more than 2 or 3 layers of air dry paint in a setting. But I think it was Laura that I painted in a single day with heat set paint. It might have been someone else, but I don't think it was. That was last summer, and I took a while to finish her because I started a new job that took 100% of my energy, and I just didn't have... I had time to paint, technically. I had the weekend. I had... let's call it 4 hours after work. Maybe 3.5 hours if you count... if you don't count the, like, chores that I needed to get done after work. But right now I am not employed, so I have plenty of time to work on my painting. It's sort of a mixed bag, because I really love painting, but I also love sort of the security and security of the routine of working. And I don't really get out as much as I should when I'm not working, and I was working in a very community-centered job, so I miss working with the people. So see, her little hand is a little different than the other one. I can't get a good angle on it. Okay. They're very similar, but there's slight subtle differences. I feel like some of the less expensive kits that you get... oh. And her head is done, so I'm gonna pause. Head is out of the oven. Her hand still needs to be painted, but we'll get that done really quickly. I don't want to, like, dribble onto her head, so I'm going to be really careful about this. But yeah, with some of the cheaper kits, you just get the fist all the way curled like this, and you get them the same exact on both hands. And that's not a bad thing. I think that's mostly, like, older sculpts. They're good to learn on, and they're really cute in their own way. But I just like the sort of realism, and gotta make sure that you get into this little nook. Yeah, Joanna Kazmierczak has some beautiful sculpting, and I think Lulu had my favorite hands of all the doll kits that I painted. I think the next one was Winnie by Cassie Brace, who I still have available. I might do a video where I show the available kits off, or not kits, available finished babies off. I've got 2 right now. I've got to post a 3rd. He's a Christopher that I was going to keep for myself, but I didn't bond with him, which I think was really interesting because I was so ready for his kit. I saw him and I was like, this is the kit that I've been looking for years. And then I just didn't bond with him, and I don't know why. I have another kit that I could paint and try again with, but I could also offer him as a custom. I do love his little pout and his just how curled up he is. It's like the perfect newborn scrunch. But I just didn't bond with him. It's funny to see, like, when you bond and when you don't bond with a kit, especially as you're painting them. Like, the two kits that I bonded with most were my Mick kits by Adri Stody. I really hope I'm saying her name right. Point being, I'm gonna pause here while I put this back. Alright, we've cooled down enough to touch her. Touch her vinyl. This is how we're looking now. She's a little pale still, so we're gonna need one more layer at least. She's definitely showing up more pale on camera than on in real life. And the shadow isn't helping. I've got to fix my lighting situation, but that's a problem for another day. I've thinned out my paint, so let's get back to it. I was talking about... Oh my god, I'll be careful about that. Sorry. Talking about how, like, I bond with my babies while I'm painting them, kind of. What is going on? And it's interesting to see, like, that bounces out alright. The difference between, like, when I'm painting for myself versus painting a doll like this who's going to be up for adoption. I don't always go in planning to keep a doll. That's not true. I think I usually go in planning to keep a doll. But I don't always go in planning to sell a doll. So, not every doll that I've painted was meant to be. Like Christopher, I was supposed to paint him and keep him forever, but I don't know. I didn't bond with him throughout painting like I did with Mick, the twins, and I did bond with Levi in a way that I wasn't expecting to. I've painted a Levi before. He was one of my air dry babies, and that was before I was doing rooting, so he had my Prismacolor hair. I think she's gonna have a light brown hair. I don't know. I'll have to see. I could do red, like a coppery color. I have chestnut, the same color that Nick, my Kieran, has. I tend to use the sculpt names even for my own babies, just because I'm so used to working with them as their sculpt. I don't name my baby till they're complete. I guess I had plans for Rowan to be named Rowan for a while, but I didn't have a name for River. And then everybody else... The name Avery came to me while I was painting her, but I didn't really plan on it. Everybody else, I just have to wait and see them. I just have to meet them first. Yeah. I do love all of the dolls that I paint. They're all special, they're all unique, they're all fun. And I just love, you know, getting customs, because a lot of the times that kit will be a kit that I had absolutely no plans to paint, but then I paint them and find, you know, something to love about them. And they're just so unexpected in that way. I painted, I want to say Dottie not too long ago. Another Adri kit. I love Adri Stoetti's kits. Just so many cute ones. And she does really cute preemies too. Or did. I apologize. Yep. I should probably cut out these quiet pauses that I do while I'm trying to focus. Let me get those little ears. But I know I said I was going to cut some parts of the first video that I did, and then I didn't because editing is scary and I am not computer savvy. But hopefully that's alright. If I was streaming, it would be worse because I couldn't pause. Alright, here's how we're looking. I apologize if that wasn't in the frame the whole time. She's a little shiny, but I think we're actually at a good skin tone for her. I don't know, a little peachy, a little shiny. But I'm gonna pause here because I had the very good timing of my limbs finishing up right as she's ready to go in the oven. So we're gonna pause, we're gonna let the limbs cool, and then we'll be back. Okay, I think the limbs are cool enough to touch now, so I think this would be a downside for streaming if I ever streamed. Because there's just sort of an awkward time. Sometimes the timing works out really well with the sticky brushes, with the heat set paint, but a lot of times there's just sitting and waiting, and when I'm sitting and waiting, I am messing around on my phone and not really doing anything else. That's the downside of heat set paint that I don't really think I have a good solution to. Sorry, that wasn't in the frame at all. I just love her little foot, it's so cute. I think her hands are my favorite. And a little deeper to those crevices where you can't reach with the big brush. Go back over so we're not gunky. I think eventually I'm gonna run out of things to talk about because I don't know. There's only so much to say about reborns, except there's not. There's always new kits, there's always new drama. I don't really want to be a drama space. And the head is done. I'm just gonna keep her in there until I finish this leg. Yeah, I don't want to be a drama spice. I want to be positive. I want to be pretty light. I think there's important things to talk about that might be, you know, considered drama, but I don't want to fight. If that makes sense. That said, I could talk about reborn kits and artists and what I do all day. I can talk about baby clothes forever because they're just the cutest. I don't really know. I'm not a very fashion person as an adult. I wear T-shirt and jeans. T-shirt and khakis. Those are my go-to. And I don't even like specific brands or anything. I used to work at Goodwill sorting clothes, so I had to get to know a lot of clothing brands. But I don't really care for them. But baby clothes, it's important that they're cute, right? Why isn't that sticking there? Just a real stubborn spot in the crease there that doesn't want to be painted. But I don't know, there's lots to say about reborns, about the sculpts. Yeah, I'm gonna pause while I get her head out of the oven. But yeah, there's a lot to say about, you know, different sculpts, different artists, in terms of like sculptors' work, in terms of like what is different about them. This little crease does not want to get ungunked. Yeah. There we go. Scoot her head just a little bit forward so, I don't know, maybe it's a little more interesting to look at. Again, I apologize for just sort of how I'm diving into this without a game plan in terms of script or camera angles or tripods that get good angles, lighting. But I don't know, I just got the urge to film, so we're doing it. I think her skin tone's looking really nice. Just sort of comparing it to mine, and I think she's a little more pale on camera. But yeah, that's actually a pretty close. Definitely in the realm of human skin tone, which is my only goal. Only goal. I used to paint very purple babies when I started out, very orange babies when I started out, but now we got human skin tone. Don't know if you can hear my roommate in the background. I'm not normally up at this hour. I am a day person, sort of, but my meds have been screwing with my sleep schedule, so we're up doing art at not art hours. But I am getting a little sleepy, so once I get this layer baked, I'm gonna call it good. The next step will be to do the blue layers and the veining, and I think I can fit that into one video. I usually do it in one go. Again, I apologize for not doing this well at all. But I'm just here to have fun. Hopefully people see this and can comment and enjoy it. If you'd like to see a live, let me know and I'll try and figure out how to do that. Because yeah, I don't know. The reborn hobby gets kind of lonely. I don't know if that's something that you've experienced as a collector or an artist. Like, the community seems to be mostly online, and that's not a bad thing. There's a lot of online communities that are good, that are wholesome. I think the reborn community is one of them, and I've made a lot of good connections, you know, on Reddit, on Discord. But I could use more. I could use someone to talk to who isn't my fiance, who is long-suffering. Not my fiance, my spouse. I'm going to keep messing that up. We were engaged for many a year, and now we're married. And it kind of feels like it didn't happen. Not in a bad way. So yeah, you can see sort of how much paler this arm is compared to her little noggin. She looks pretty pale on camera. She definitely doesn't look as pale in real life. Getting better with my camera is a huge, huge goal of mine as an artist. But we're just vibing. I just don't have the energy once I'm done painting and putting together it all to then go on to do good photography. Which is a terrible thing, because I want to put as much care into these dolls as possible. Like, I love each and every one of these dolls. They are so important to me. And I know that somebody's going to love them. So I want to do my best to make sure that they are, like, well represented, well loved, and well taken care of throughout their whole process. But photography is not a skill I possess. And I know it's learnable. Any skill is learnable, right? I didn't start off good reboarding. I didn't start off good baking. But I put effort into learning it, and I learned it. I have not put the effort into learning how to create really cute setups for photography. I haven't put in the effort to figure out the right angles and lighting, and it's really hard. So, I don't know. If you've got photography tips, let me know. I've seen a lot of videos on like how to make your reborn photo shoots look more realistic, and those have been helpful. But I don't know, I'm just not a natural at it. And when I'm not a natural at it, I quit. I don't know if anyone relates to that. I don't know why I didn't quit with reborns, because I was not having a good time when I first started out, but I guess I just really wanted to commit to them in a way that I usually don't with hobbies, like with drawing, with music. I used to play in band. I was not good at sight reading. I was not good at scales. My teachers did not like me. So yeah. What are some of your hobbies, if you got any? My other hobby is video games, but that's not something I have to be good at. And then I guess my third hobby is baking, and I don't have to be good at that, because it's just me and my spouse mostly eating it, and my roommate sometimes. But it's better when it's good, right? I do a lot of gluten-free baking because my spouse has, my partner has. See, that's an easier word because it's could mean anything. Partner has celiac, and so we do not do wheat in this house. We do not do gluten. And that's sort of its own challenge, is like how to make gluten-free food taste good. And honestly, it's not that much of a leap But there's textural differences that you have to adjust for. There's just sort of the way the flour works. But you didn't come here to talk about baking. You came here to see reborns. I might just be tired at this point. I love this kit. She's just so cute. She's got a big old forehead. She's got cute little eyes. I think blue eyes are gonna look really good on her. I feel like my go-to is blue eyes. I don't know if that's just because I have blue eyes, but there were some kits that I was like, I absolutely need big brown eyes. My first Nick that I painted, big brown eyes. My Gracie May, not mine, but the Gracie May that I painted, I was planning on keeping her. She was another baby that I was like, I think I want to keep her. Then I just didn't. Beautiful, beautiful kit. I absolutely adore Gracie May. Both her sleeping and awake version. But I think I like her awake version a little bit better. So I have one for sale if you're interested. She had a couple people interested in her, but one person had to back out and the other person never got back to me. So if you're looking for babies to adopt, I've got 2, soon to be 3. If I can get myself to photograph Christopher anytime soon. And then she's going to be for sale. We're going to get her all painted, and we're going to get her all rooted. Let's see how she looks after. Yeah. I wish I could get the lighting right. Is that better? I feel like her skin tone looks a little more correct in this. Yeah. Trying to think of how her hairline is going to be. I'm going to have to like look at other lilies and irises to see how they did the hairline for her. She's got a big old forehead. It's really cute. It is just causing some problems with her wanting to fall forward all the time. Now she's not doing it. But yeah. Now she is. I think it was Devin who also had that problem. Devin is a sold out kit now who is about 3 month size, and I was planning on keeping him for myself, but I wasn't really connecting with him before he was painted, and she ended up going to somebody as a custom. They were trying to decide on a kit and just couldn't come up with a kit that they wanted. They were looking for a bigger awake baby, and normally I would have suggested Cameron, but Cameron was sold out at that time. But I was like, well, I have this kit on hand, and they loved her and wanted her as a girl, and that's how that went. Sometimes I do that, like, I think it's more important that I help somebody else find a kit that's perfect for them versus me, because I can be very patient about kits. I can be, you know, waiting for the perfect kit to come along in a long time. So, I don't know. Share your favorite big baby, your older baby kits, because I have been really looking at a Maddie. Not a specific Maddie, but Maddie in general. I'm on the fence about whether I want to paint her personally, though, because she's so big. and I don't want to root her, but I want her to have rooted hair. So let me know your favorite 3 to 6 month, 6-month size babies. I don't know if I'm brave enough to try a toddler at this point, but yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me while I paint this beautiful girl. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, and I will see you in the next one. Take very good care.